B. Nagesh, Additional Secretary Retired, Team IS Network. So today we take up for discussion a topic on General Studies 2 Polity. As I told you, General Studies 2 basically consists of 3 units. Polity, that is the structural part of the Constitution, governance, the working of the Constitution, and international relations. The unit on polity, traditionally now, as we have seen from the previous year papers, there is a gradual decline in the static questions being answered. The main reason would be the UPSC wants to see how well you are aware of your surroundings, how well you are aware of the current events relating to the governance part. So today, though the topic we have selected is a static one, that is the Lokpal. When we discuss the issues underlining the functioning of the Lokpal, we are discussing the current issues. See the question for discussion. It took half a century for the Lokpal law to be enacted. Many issues are pending for an effective, independent, empowered Lokpal. Substantiate your answer in 200 words. So once again the question I will read out. It took half a century for the Lokpal law to be enacted. Many issues are pending for an effective, independent, empowered Lokpal. Substantiate in 200 words. As in other videos, first we have an introduction. The concept of Lokpal. We have taken it from, we were inspired by the concept of the Swedish ombudsman. In Sweden, they have the ombudsman, so we were inspired by this concept. Now, the first ARC, headed by Kengalan Mantaya, made a recommendation to the government for incorporating a Lokpal at the center and Lokayuktas at the state. Then, after this, we have the committee to rewrite the constitution, headed by Justice Venkatachala, which also recommended the establishment of a Lokpal. Then the second ARC prompted the government to initiate the process. So you see the time lag. First ARC, committee to rewrite the constitution. The second ARC. With all this, the initiation of the process was not complete until an NGO called Common Cause put up a PIL in the NGO on why the government is dragging its feet on the establishment of the Lokpal. So the activities of Common Cause, the NGO, besides the threat of the Supreme Court to initiate contempt proceedings, spurred the government into action. Even with all this, there was a lot of delay in institutionalizing the office of the Lokpal, because as in other appointments, there was a provision for screening committee consisting of the Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition, the Cabinet Minister. Now, government dragged its feet, saying that there is no recognized Leader of the Opposition. So this dragged the issue for some time. Ultimately, the Supreme Court had to interfere and point out to the government that in the absence of a member, the proceedings of the committee will not be vitiated. So from insisting on leader of the opposition, leader of the opposition, now the government modified it as leader of the single largest party in the opposition. So once this change came about, the appointment of the Lokpal could come into being. So this is an introduction. Coming to the functioning of the Lokpal. Now, what is the jurisdiction or the framework of activity for the Lokpal? First, to inquire into allegations of corruption, including the PM, ministers, members of parliament, chairpersons of board and corporations, and trusts receiving 10 lakh and above. So these come under the direct jurisdiction of the Lokpal. Then the Lokpal can order preliminary inquiries or refer the matter to the CBI. See, the procedure is the Central Vigilance Commission, will inquire into allegations of corruption against Group A and B officers and report to the Lokpal. Then the CVC will itself inquire against Group C and D officials and report the matter to the government for taking necessary action. Now, there is a definition of the competent authority. Now, who has to give accord or who has to accord approval for initiating proceedings? Now, the competent authority in the case of the Prime Minister is the Lok Sabha. And in case of ministers, the Prime Minister is the authority. In case of a department, the department officers and officials, the concerned minister who heads the department is the authority to accord sanction for prosecution. So, the competent authority, once again, in the case of the Prime Minister is the Lok Sabha. In case of the ministers, that is the Council of Ministers, it is the Prime Minister. And in case of the officers and officials of a department, the concerned minister who heads the department, their approval is required for initiating proceedings. Another feature would be the comments of the the comments of the competent authority, whoever it may be, that is, whether it is in case of the Prime Minister or the ministers or the departmental officials, comments of the competent authority as well as comments of the public servant is necessary before giving sanction for prosecution. So this is an important thing which you have to remember. The competent authority, apart from giving permission, it will also obtain the remarks of the public servant against whom action is to be initiated. After seeing this, then the competent authority gives sanction for prosecution. So first we had a general discussion on how long it took for the process to be institutionalized, that is coming or setting up of the Lokpal. Then we saw the brief issues or the brief jurisdictional avenues for the Lokpal. We spoke of the different jurisdictional avenues. Then we spoke of the definition of the competent authority. Then how we said that comments of the competent authority is also required before initiating or before granting sanction for prosecution. Issues of concern. This will also form a part of the answer, because the second part of the question says issues are pending for an effective, independent, empowered Lokpal. So why is the Lokpal not effective? Why is it not independent? And why is it not empowered? This we are going to analyze now. See, in an RTI reply, when somebody asked a question under the RTI to the Lokpal about the number of cases under investigation and the number of cases in which prosecution had been initiated against the accused, the reply given by the Lokpal was inquiry and prosecution wing. See, the Act provides for an inquiry wing against under a director, a prosecution wing under a director. So this inquiry wing will go into the allegations of corruption, it will make an inquiry, and the prosecution wing will initiate action. That is on the basis of the inquiry report. So these two are the major wings in the Lokpal, the inquiry wing and the prosecution wing. Surprisingly, the answer given under RTI states that the inquiry wing and the prosecution wing are yet to be set up. So this is a major thing which we can substantiate in the answer to show that the Lokpal has not been empowered enough to function effectively as an effective watchdog. Then the second thing, the manner and procedure of conducting preliminary investigation and investigation, preliminary inquiry and investigation are yet to be laid out. See, we have framed the Act, now the rules for conducting preliminary inquiry, for beginning investigation, they are still to be formulated. So this is again affecting the independent functioning of the Lokpal. Then you see the manner of appointment of the Lokpal. You see the selection committee. Selection committee is highly biased in favor of the ruling party members. And when the members are appointed, obviously their allegiance is with the ruling party, the government. You take the appointment of the chairman of the Lokpal chairperson. He was previously a member of the National Human Rights Commission. And even if you see the composition of the Lokpal, there are a large number of IAS, IPS, Indian Revenue Service officers. Now, including retired members as retired members of the civil service. Once you include them as members of the Lokpal, how effective or how efficient will they be when it comes to tackling cases against their colleagues? Will they be impartial? Then the Act does not say anything regarding the asset declaration of politicians. While, see, in certain states like Karnataka, the Lokayukta has been very firm, in which it has succeeded in, to some extent, in getting the assets of the politicians on its website. However, this is not the uniform practice throughout. Now, the asset declaration of politicians, who is going to monitor this? And this is another glaring issue in the which is going to affect the independence or independent functioning of the Lokpal. So the discussion on this question, General Studies 2 Polity Lokpal, first we had a discussion on the evolution. That is, we said it was inspired by the Swedish pattern, the efforts of the first ARC committee to review the constitution, then the second ARC, then the initiative of the Common Cause, an NGO which fought in the Supreme Court against the government through a PIL, the intervention of the Supreme Court and the threat to impose contempt of court spurred the government. Again, the government dragged its feet because of the procedural lacuna, saying that there was no leader of the opposition. Again, the Supreme Court had to interfere and tell the government that the absence of a member will not vitiate the selection. So again, it was modified as leader of the single largest party in the opposition. Then the functioning of the Lokpal, we spoke of the different competent authorities, the Prime Minister, for the Council of Ministers, the ministers under the PM, then the chairpersons of boards and corporations, trusts receiving 10 lakh and above. Then we spoke of the competent authority, who is the competent authority, and unless the competent authority gives permission, sanction for prosecution will be very difficult. And we also said, in addition to comments of the competent authority, the comments of the public servant also has to be obtained. In the issues of concern, we spoke of showing how the Lokpal has not been sufficiently empowered. First instance, I spoke of the inquiry and prosecution wing yet to be set up. Then the most important thing, the manner and procedure of conducting preliminary inquiry and investigation are yet to be laid out. So in the absence of definite rules, this leaves the way for the accused to approach the court and to drag the matter. Then the selection committee, as I said, it is biased because the selection committee, obviously, the ruling party tries to get its own men into the Lokpal, and they'll be biased in their functioning. I also mentioned how the inclusion of retired IAS, IPS or IRS officers, how impartial can they function when it comes to cases against their colleagues. And finally, we spoke of how the asset declaration of politicians, how this is a neglected matter. So these are the issues which are hindering or coming in the way of the empowerment of the Lokpal. Thank you.